market is finally showing signs of heading for a correction of sorts after a bull run that has seen AI sector stocks retrace virtually all of the corona crash, with the Dow looks set to target 23,000. So apt timing for this, my latest analysis that seeks to answer why the number one priority for most investors, well, all investors, should be to accumulate into AI megatrend stocks, and why one should embrace plunges in the stock market as buying opportunities, though the tendency to wait for correction before climbing on board the AI megatrend train could result in fundamental errors that investors could come to regret for decades to come, which is the primary focus of this analysis that seeks to clear away the fog of future uncertainty to map out a trend for AI stocks and, to a lesser extent, the general stock market indices for over the next 15 years. For investors to succeed in riding the AI gravy train, then they need to have the mindset of always being ready to accumulate deviations against the bull market highs. In a selection of AI stocks, where my list of stocks has largely remained static for a good 5 years, and where from time to time technical analysis can help towards identifying buying levels that could be achieved during a correction from overbought states, such as my most recent technical buying levels update of late April. However, as we take a plunge into a correction of sorts, here's a reminder for why not to overly complicate things by getting sidetracked by the likes of politics, elections, economic fundamentals, earnings reports, the corona death panic lockdowns, even recessions, for why the stock market corrections, panic events, bear markets, and even the worst collapse in modern economic history that we are still immersed in the midst of are not the time to waver and start second guessing one's holdings by selling out too early or failing to buy because AI stocks appear to be bucking the trend. And this video is excerpted from my extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed 15-year trend forecast for AI stocks that has first been made available to patrons who support my work. So, for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And for why, when most of the world's investors are gripped by fear and paralysis due to uncertainty, such as when the world's stock markets plunged off the edge of a cliff during March, instead such events are to be viewed as the mother of all buying opportunities, as we saw AI sector stocks typically deviate by more than 1/3 below their bull market highs. So why investors should buy deviations against the bull market highs? Who could have imagined that Google, which was selling for over $1,500 in January, would be selling for near $1,000 by mid-March? That, I repeatedly warned, was the mother of all buying opportunities, far beyond anything anyone could have dreamed of, as I was convinced that the collapse in stock prices would prove temporary, for AI sector stocks at least, and which, given the size of the tech giants in terms of market cap, the likes of Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, also imply that the general stock market indices should also bottom before the end of March, which was my view going into the March crash lows. Without understanding the exponential nature of the AI megatrend, then I can well understand that it can be difficult for most to fully comprehend what is likely to unfold in terms of stock market trends for the AI sector stocks, as it could prompt the error of selling one's holdings on subsequent rallies, so as to lock in paper profits of 30% or so off the March lows, on fears that the lows will once more be revisited. Understanding of the AI megatrend continued to warn that the markets would bottom before the worst of the coronavirus death tolls materialized. So mid-March really was the mother of all buying opportunities, where those who did not act to do so would soon regret not doing so. A megatrend that I will attempt to map out in this analysis onto one single chart, as far distant into the future as I can possibly go. So at least for the next 10 years, so that my patrons have some of the fog cleared, that as we call the future, dispersed for them to help avoid making mistakes such as not buying deviations against the bull market highs, when what we have so far seen being nothing compared to that which is to come in terms of stock price appreciation. Of course, there will be deviations in trend between individual stocks that comprise the AI sector, and some will overshoot whilst others will underperform in reaction to individual successes and failures. Nevertheless, this article will attempt to map out the average trend for the AI sector stocks in response to key developments that I expect to unfold over at least the next 10 to 15 years, so that investors have better certainty of what they should do when the next panic event happens. We already inhabit a world dominated by superintelligences. They are called corporations who have their own self-interests that are usually contrary to those of humanity, i.e. to maximize profits rather than to protect the environment. It's just that they are increasingly going to become non-biological superintelligences, so not capped by the limits of what a few hundred decision makers comprising say 1350 cc of grey matter each can deliver in terms of collective intelligence in the mobilization of resources at their disposal. And this video is excerpted from my extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed 15-year trend forecast for AI stocks that has first been made available to patrons who support my work. So, for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And do remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for the next video in this series, though it's unlikely that all of my extensive analysis will be converted into videos, which is another reason to become a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month.